listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Hello. Welcome to another edition of the Narrative Podcast. And I am your host, Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is the home of original people peace, reciprocity, and positive frames of reference. Welcome today on this great Saturday weekend. Back at it. Another full edition of the Narrative Podcast. Welcome all my narrators. My narrators is my listening fan base that keep up with every single broadcast. If you're listening right now too, you are officially a narrator now. And I get more into, your duties as a narrator a little later on in the segment. But first of all, just welcome you to the platform. Welcome, family. My narrators, they already know the demonstration. They already know what my platform entails and is all about, and what type of content they'll be in store for this evening or afternoon or evening, wherever you're at in the world by the time I upload this episode. But anyway, before I get into all that, I got some good news. I want to send special congratulatory round of applause to our sister Shakari Richardson and our brother Noah Lyles for their wins. They got nominated earlier in the week. Earlier in the week at the USA Night of Legends award ceremony, our brother Noah was honored with the Jesse Owens Male Athlete of the Year, and our sister Shakari was honored with the Jackie Joyner Kersey's Athlete of the Year. This is an annual event that organization hosts every single year, and that brother and that sister took home those coveted awards for the races that they won. Shakari earned a bronze and provided anchor, and our sister, sister Shakari won a bronze and provided anchor, and brother Noah, one sec. Yeah, I'm sorry, I just don't keep up with track and field events, so I don't really know what he won the award for. I'm guessing, he's been getting gold medals, but he's the third annual winner of that coveted award. He's won for the this is his third year winning it. This is Shakari's first year winning the award. And like I said, it's by the USA TF. This is an annual awards event that they host every single year to honor track and field athletes. So that's very prestigious, to say the least. Our brothers and our sister out here just dominating in the track and field. So, we're going to give a warm Narrative Podcast round of applause for their accomplishments. All right, and as promised, we're going to give you a brief overview of, the Narrative Podcast, my objectives, the content that I'll be delivering, the way I'm going to deliver it, And you know, my over underlying message, and just basically everything this podcast represents. So first and foremost, let's start at the name, the tippy, the Narrative Podcast. I named this podcast the Narrative Podcast because I don't like the false narrative that the media weaves about original people and original culture. I get to the reason why I say original people a little later on in the overview. So yeah, I decided to design a platform where I'm uplifting and edifying my people by showing them at their best instead of at their worst like the media does. The media is always showing us downtrodden and disenfranchised. They play up a whole lot of stereotypes about our people and within our culture, and I just basically wanted to create a platform to dispel all these negative stereotypes and stigmas that the media places over us. And essentially just basically, you know, improve our self-image of each other, because the media is trying to distort our self-image. So that's why I created this podcast. So my mission statement for the podcast is to uplift and edify my people. As a matter of fact, that's kind of inferred in my tagline. The Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. How do I destroy these negative stereotypes and stigmas about our people and our culture? By providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. So that's what this entire podcast is dedicated towards, is providing the listeners positive frames of reference about original people and original culture. The reason, because we're constantly being bombarded with negativity from the media about our people and our culture. So, you know, that's my mission statement, is to bring awareness to my people and everybody of how important it is to responsibly utilize your platforms to share positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. So yeah, like I said, the media has an evil, wicked, diabolical agenda. They are ran by the powers that be, and the powers that be's agenda is to make everybody subservient to them by making themselves appear to be superior and above everybody else. And they do this to everybody, but they especially do it to our people, original people. They do it to us the most because they fear us the most. They know their history, they know our history. And their biggest fear is that we will do to them what they're currently doing and have done to us. They don't want us to reclaim, you know, our rightful place in society. They don't want us to, you know, get our finances together and be a productive community. They want us to be in disarray, at each other's throat, fighting each other, and, you know, throwing each other under the bus. And like I said, that's the agenda of the powers that be, is to, you know, corrupt everybody. And the powers that be, if you didn't know, I keep saying the powers that be, elitist, capitalist, high society, aka wealthy white people. They basically want the head seat at the table. So they want to demonize and stigmatize everybody else to do so, because they have a history of erasing other people's history, you know, plundering, taking resources, rewriting history. But, you know, original people, that's not in our nature to do that. The only thing we have a history of is in enlightening, in teaching, and loving. Everywhere we've gone, we've bought enlightenment. We've bought education. We've invented things. We created, religion and spirituality. But anyway, that aside, so the media is horribly wicked and evil and diabolical, but at the core of it, they're also a business. And the first rule of business is supply and demand. Now here comes the narrator part. We're living in the digital information age. Basically, we share everything, all forms of information online. Meaning, like whatever you share online, people equate that with you. Your hobbies, your interests, your upbringing, your income level is, like class status, like all that is, culminated by what you're posting online. This is, how these Fortune 500 companies collect their data and create products, supply and demand. So, how do we look as a people if we're feeding into these negative stereotypes and stigmas that the media places over us? If we're like regurgitating these negative stereotypes and stigmas by what we post online, distorted images of us, the gangbanger, the pimp, the whore, the pusher, the addict. These Fortune 500 companies, they see that and they create a product to accommodate that need that we appear to seem that we want. And the product is degeneracy. They will keep on creating degeneracy for our people as long as we keep on exhibiting and displaying a need for it. So this is why I call my target audience my narrators, because being that we are in the information age, we're in the unique position to tell or narrate our stories. So we can responsibly use our platforms to, tell our stories, making us the heroes, telling our story from the perspective of, we're kings and queens, gods and goddesses of the universe, that we are, studious, well-to-do for people, that we, honor and cherish our elders and ancestors, that we love our children, that we have a sense of community, that we know how to interact and cohabitate with each other peacefully and find a peaceful resolve for our problems and be productive citizens and members of society. That's what, the sentiment that needs to be translated online when you're posting content. Whatever your platform is, whether it's, Facebook, YouTube, a magazine, a publication, whatever. We need to be sharing, putting out positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. So, said all that to say, we don't, post degeneracy. The machine will stop producing degenerate content. So next up, another misnomer about the Narrator podcast. As I know you heard me say repeatedly, original people, and on this platform I refer to our people as original people versus black. I do that because I feel, I know, I don't feel, I know it's a scientifically proven fact that we were and are the original men and women of this planet. We were here thousands of years before every other race, ethnicity, culture, whatever you want to call it, beings on this physical plane we call Earth. And we inhabited every corner. We was indigenously located on every corner of it. And contrary to all unpopular belief, we didn't get to all these corners of the globe via slave boats. While chattel slavery did happen and it did exist, it just wasn't a real thing for all of us. Many of us was already located here in the Americas, especially the United States of America, especially in Latin America. So that's my logic for referring to ourselves as original. Just reclaiming our place, letting the world know we was here first, letting the world know we matter, why we matter, because we was here first, like we was the original blueprint for everybody else. Not saying we were superior, but we was definitely first. And we're definitely not a minority. We've never been a minority. So again, more propaganda by the powers that be. Another reason I refer to our people as original people is because it also unifies us as a people. Because there are so many different types of us hailing from so many different places in the world, believing in so many different things. But the one the one common strand that binds us together as a people is we can all, trace our lineage back to the original point of origin for all mankind. We can argue and debate, the original name for it and where it was originally located, but we can definitely all trace our lineage back to it. So that's why I refer to our people as original people here on the Narrator podcast as often as possible. Another thing is, this is a positive space. I don't do any bashing. I don't do rumors, gossip. It's, space that I'm trying to provide is all about uplifting and edifying our people, celebrating our accomplishments, praising our achievements. This isn't a space to slander and, try to tear down people's names, because we're the only, race of people that get attacked from all sides. We legit have no allies. Nobody, sympathizes or empathizes with our pain. And the last thing we need to do as a people is be attacking each other. So I really try to discourage against that. And I really try to avoid, talking about a brother or sister in a negative way on this platform. Now what I do is I do tell the truth. If one of our brothers and sisters are intentionally or seeming to intentionally, use or utilize their platform in a damaging way towards all of us, irresponsible, like utilizing their platforms irresponsibly, then I probably will say something about that, whatever they did or whatever they said, because, that reflects poorly upon all of us as a whole if they did something like that. But other than that, I don't gossip, I don't finger point, I don't blame. But I call a spade a spade. I do tell the truth. But other than that, it's all about uplifting and edifying our people. Last misnomer about the Narrator podcast. This is a time-sensitive platform. I try not to exceed 1 hour per broadcast, and the purpose of me doing it for a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm an audio platform. So I'm not in front of a camera. You can't see me. I can't see you. And I need a good way to keep my audience captivated and attentive while I'm presenting my content. And the best way to do that is basically use a KISS formula, keep it simple, silly. So the best way to keep it simple is to, keep it simple, not have all these elongated topics and just drone on talking hours and hours. Because no matter how interesting you are, no matter how interesting a life you've led, how impactful you are, whatever, to the culture, nobody wants to sit up there and listen to somebody drone on and on for hours and hours. So the best way I can keep my listening audience captivated is just keep it simple and to the point and make all my points concise and, have a point to my points, and not just be talking in circles. So the best way to do that is just to try to make the content time sensitive and try not to speak over 1 hour as I come to each point. So speaking of points, this is a full broadcast of the Narrator Podcast, and on a full broadcast of the Narrator Podcast, I divvy my content up into sections. Each section has a speaking point, and definitely all the sections are timed. There's that. I think I covered everything I want you to know in the overview. And if I left out anything, I'm nearly 300 episodes in, so you can definitely check out my previously recorded episodes to get a better feel for the format and a sense of what I'm trying to accomplish here in this space for the listeners. So without any further ado, I'm going to get started. Diving into my very first section here on the Narrator Podcast, full edition this weekend, is my promo section. And the promo section, what this is opportunity that I am providing original people that either own and operate their own business, have an event they want promoted, something that they want promoted, the opportunity to reach out to me, Halzie Allen, and I will promote whatever they got going on my platform for 110% free. And the purpose of me doing that is to help, circulate the original people dollar within the original people community. Because while we are due reparations, until we get it, it's up to us to, support each other and do for self. And we do for self by patronizing businesses and attending events, owned and operated and headed by us. And then also promoting each other, making, businesses, events known to other people. Because can't anybody, patronize something that they don't know exists. So that's what I'm doing in this space, giving the opportunity to a business owner, a promoter, to reach out to me and let me know, they got a product or an event that they need or want, promoted. So, make people aware of their business, product, service, or event. And, that's what I do for you. So be specific as possible. Tell me everything you want me to know about the item in question that you want promoted. And I promote it, to my utmost ability here on my platform. So, the more specific you are, the better your advertisement will be. And the kicker is I'm doing it 110% free. I'm not charging any money. It's like I said, I'm doing my part to help circulate the original people dollar within the original people community. So if you need or want some free promotion, hit me up at webmail@poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type promo. Body of the email, tell me a little bit about yourself, business, product, or service, or anything you need or want promoted, and I'll gladly promote it for you. All right, for my next section is the contest section. The contest section is a incentive contest that I'm running just to engage my listening audience and reward the people that's been, faithful to my podcast, and as well as try to incentivize people unfamiliar with my platform by giving them a reward or offering a reward. And the reward is a bulk supply of your favorite snack. And you can get this by participating in the contest topic, which is share your most recent shopping while Black experience. The name of my contest is called the Chew on This contest. And you can enter it at the exact same email address that I just gave out for the free promotion. The difference is the subject bar. That's how I'm separating the two. So to enter the Chew on This contest, you hit me up at webmail@poeticpassion.host. And in the subject bar, you type Chew on This / shopping while Black. And in the body of the email, make sure to include your mailing address so I know where to send the prize, which is a bulk supply of your favorite snack food item, hence the title, Chew on This, because it's Chew on This, it's a play on words. I'm giving you something to chew on mentally, something to think about, ponder, and then also physically to snack on. So go to that email address, provide me with, your mailing address so I know where to send your prize, which is a bulk supply of your favorite snack. Include the topic, your most recent shopping while Black experience. Share your most recent shopping while Black experience. And then, tell me what type of snack you want as your prize for entering the Chew on This contest. And the entry is 110% free. I'm not charging any money, not trying to get your data. Just, offer an incentive to either keep on listening to the Narrator podcast or to listen to the Narrator podcast. So that's pretty much basically it with those sections. And those were just like my preliminary sections, but here's the main event for the Narrator podcast, the glue, if you will. This section is called the highlight section. One is I'm highlighting established business owned and operated by either an original man or original woman, or if they're a family type situation, a husband and wife, or, family owned and operated. Basically, I'm highlighting their businesses. And the purpose of that is to, again, stay true to my mission statement, to put out positive frames of reference about original people and original culture. And the positive frame of reference in the highlight section is to highlight entrepreneurs. And the reason why I feel like I need to highlight entrepreneurs, because we don't have a whole lot of positive frames of reference about entrepreneurs within our community. The very few frames of reference that we have about entrepreneurs in our community are unfortunately negative, because they come to us via scripted reality television shows. And on these scripted reality television shows, the producers of these shows usually play up the toxicity and the dysfunction and degeneracy. So, when you're watching these shows, you're seeing us fight on camera, do drugs on camera, do alcohol on camera, overdose of alcohol and drugs, engage in lewd acts, having sex on camera, being overly intimate, kind of like leading up to sex, like just too much. We're seeing too much. Twerking, all that. Just, behaving like nobody attempted to had a hand in our upbringing and presenting that to the world like that's an accurate representation of us as a people. Meanwhile, they're deflecting away from the premise of the show, which is to play up these people, these entrepreneurs who are earning 6 figures or better, have tons of, businesses under their umbrella, in charge of, 1,000 or more staff members, have 20 or 30 brands under their umbrella, but, all we're doing is being programmed to focus on the degeneracy. But here on the Narrator Podcast, I bypass all that because number one, it's an audio platform. That's first and foremost. And then secondly, I'm just playing up, the high points, hence the title, the highlight, how they came up with their idea, their business, model, the concept of their product, their demographic. Essentially, basically what I'm doing is I'm walking you through their journey as an entrepreneur, as it should be, for these, scripted reality television shows. That's how it should be on those shows, but it's not. And since it's not, that's what I'm doing here in this, section of the Narrative Podcast. I'm walking you through an entrepreneur's journey. Some more qualifying factors I use to highlight the businesses is one, of course, they're owned and operated by either an original man or original woman or a collaboration of both. They do some type of they're located in the original people neighborhood. They do some type of outreach, some type of giving back. They either, have their own nonprofit organization, or they pay into one. They do some type of, community outreach, giving back to the community, providing resources, something positive. And last but not least, they align up with my theme. And my current theme is the season of winter. So now that you know what the highlight section is all about, I'm going to dive right on in. So just as I said, it is now the season of winter, and something that, happens in the winter is, the most famous holiday that we have of all the holidays is Christmas. And a lot of people are gearing up for Christmas. So my notion behind the theme, the businesses I'll be highlighting this week on the highlight section of the Narrator Podcast have to do with Christmas shopping, because we just had, there's a few more days left to the actual holiday. So it's on the 25th. So it's a couple more weeks. Today is the what? Today's the 9th. So you got a few more days to do some shopping. We just had Cyber Monday, had Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So the ideal way to support businesses, because like I said, it's our duty to support each other, to patronize each other. But the problem is we don't know these businesses exist. So today, this week on the Narrative Podcast, I will be sharing one-stop shops for all your holiday shopping needs. So, in these one-stop shop shops. They're completely owned and operated by original men and original women, and their product is, depicting, a depiction of us as a people. They sell it multiple items, just not one thing. They got a little bit of everything. All your seasonal needs, whether it's, gift cards, gift wrap, clothing, toys, whatever. They got you. So the first business that I'll be highlighting in the highlight section here on the Narrative Podcast is a shop called It's a Black Thing. I wonder what movie that came from. I'm gonna have to Google that later. It's a black thing, baby. Don't worry about it. It's a black thing. That was like big in the early 90s, that little saying from whatever movie that came from. Like it was on all kinds of merch. T-shirts, jerseys, like it's a black thing, don't worry about it. They even had like the Looney Tunes. Like I remember a Looney Tune jersey with the Looney Tunes, and they put the Looney Tunes as like, black people, and it said it's a black thing, don't worry about it. But anyway, getting off subject, this store is called It's a Black Thing, and it was established in 2021 by a brother named Kenny Brew III. And its website address is ablackthing.com. And let me see some more contact information. Physical address 2406 State Road 60 East, 1206 Valrico, Florida 33595. And you can email your questions directly to canepub@outlook.com. Telephone number 813-643-1160. Customer service hours are from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, what, his business is primarily all about. Initially, when he got started, he created some crossword puzzles to reach out, to make us as the demographic target audience, just something to engage us as a people, because there wasn't any inclusion in that genre of entertainment. We like to do crosswords puzzles too, so he just started out just doing crossword puzzles, and then later on, as a business owner, like any business owner, he saw supply and demand. He wanted, the people that was purchasing his crossword puzzles, they wanted other stuff. And so as a business, having that knack for business, he expanded the line. He later started adding stationery, so like greeting cards, pens, pencils, etc., towels, all that. Later on, expanding his line. So anything you can think of that would make a good gift, any type of retail need you can think of, he got it. It's just tailored specifically for us, to us, especially around this time of the year. They have all kinds of holiday-themed apparel, holiday-themed merchandise. So like I said, you can visit itsablackthing.com. He was very straightforward on his webpage about how and why he started the business. Now, his name wasn't featured on there, so I had to do a little digging online to find his name. But other than that, it's a one-stop shop. You support him, you're supporting us, because, he hires his own. It's located in a black neighborhood. So, gotta keep that original people dollar circulating, the original people community. So go there. It's a Black thing. Get all your, everything you need to provide a gift for the holidays. And do that. It's a Black thing by Kennebrew III. Go support that brother and his product. Let's give a warm Narrator podcast for Kennebrew III and It's a Black Thing. Okay, up next, the next featured business I'll be highlighting in the highlight section of the Narrator podcast is the Black Art Depot. The Black Art Depot was established in 2004. Forgive me if I mispronounce this brother's name. He is of Nigerian descent. Sabui Abu, Sabuiaybu. And his physical address for this company is 2569 Central Park Boulevard, Decatur, Georgia, 30035. Telephone number 1-800-123-124. You can email him directly for support if you're ordering online at theblackdepot.com. Or you can text at 678-916-6545. So essentially, they're just a co-op. It's a collective of artists and hobbyists. They sell art type stuff, pictures, jewelry, all handcrafted items. So if you're interested in, making your gift stand out and be very sentimental, that's the place for you. The craftsmanship. They got graphic art designs too, like t-shirts, apparel, all that. And of course they have stationery as well. So like greeting cards, wrapping paper, candles, etc. They give back to the community. Their company, they also donate and participate in community-focused organizations and initiatives in that area of Georgia. So like nonprofit organizations, they host their own, giving back to the community. They do stuff for the community, their product, time, and resources. So definitely go support an organization like that. He offers, like I said, people to work for them, franchising opportunities so they can build their own store similar to the Art Depot. So no competition. He's not worried about competition. He's just trying to put people in their best possible position they can possibly be in as an original man or an original woman. So he's trying to help people declare their financial freedom, like their employees, help them get their financial freedom by putting them in the best possible place. And then, like I said, as well, they're giving back to the community. So if you patronize them, essentially, you're patronizing us, because any money you spend with them goes back into the community. Like they're original people, owned and operated from the ground up. So they don't have any, people outside of us contributing to that business. And like, that's not, and I'm going to just take a little side tangent. Like, I hate when, like dominant society says that's tribalism. Every time we try to do things for ourselves, like when we try to establish our own economic base, then, that's reverse racism or that's tribalism. But when they do it, it's group economics. But anyway, I just wanted to point out that fact. It's original people owned and operated from the ground up. He helped them, you will be helping us. They do for the community. So go support that brother, Sabui Abu and the Black Art Depot. And let's give a warm Narrative Podcast round of applause for that brother and his shop and the services he provides to the community. All right, moving right along. Next up on this is the very last business. This is called the African American Expressions, or African American Expression. It was established in 1991 by a brother named Gregory. It was founded by a brother by the name of Gregory Perkins. There was not a whole lot about, him or his business. It's blackgifts.com is the website. So essentially, this is kind of like another cooperative. His whole thing, how he keeps it going, is just like he unveils his company basically like a nonprofit. So you can use it for either individuals or organizations to fund whatever you got going on. But essentially it is for the community. He has products based exclusively for our taste and centered around the people, original people. So think you want, whether it's clothing, stationery, like all the other ones I just named, products such as candles and whatever. You can definitely go there. It's a one-stop shop for all your retail needs. So in the past, before he did that, he was working, doing volunteer work. So he has a history of philanthropy. He was doing an organization called Shoulder to Shoulder and another organization in Project 916, and it's spelled like Project 9 and then the actual number 1 and then spelled 6. So it's like a unique spelling of it. If you want to know about Project 196, go to www.project916.org. And that was in 2015, but he's still actively involved in those two organizations. He got his education at Niagara University in business administration and management. His current business is located in Sacramento, California. So you go to the website to blackgifts.com and just see, what they have to offer as far as your shopping needs. And like I said again, what sets his business apart is it's more like an organization than a retail. I guess he's giving people the opportunity to franchise. I guess that's the word. If they want to have their own business, something similar to that. That's how he's giving back to the community. And then also funding other profit organizations, helping them, set the event space up and all that. But definitely go and support that brother, Gregory Perkins, and African American Expression. So let's give a warm Narrative Podcast round of applause. Our brother Greek Perkins and African American Expressions. All right, I just I don't know why this like got a little short in it, but anyway, back to what I was saying. My next section here on the Narrator podcast is called the Spotlight section. Spotlight section. What this section is dedicated, what it's all about is spotlighting prominent figures within our communities for all their contributions to our community, whether it's activism or advocating for something, or doing some type of philanthropy or some type of community outreach, or carrying and conducting themselves in a manner which makes us all look good as a people. The way they handle themselves in the interview. And in the past, I've highlighted, I've really focused on entertainers in the fields of acting, actresses, actors, athletes, comedians, public figures, social media activists, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, whoever, entertainers basically. I've also highlighted religious leaders as well on the Spotlight section of the Narrator podcast. But again, like I said, the Spotlight section of the Narrator podcast is basically me saying, all heroes don't wear capes, acknowledging a brother or sister for representing and contributing to the cause. And I say the cause, not the struggle, because we believe in the power of words here on the Narrator podcast. But anyway, I've kind of deviated from that. What I've been doing lately is just focusing on normal people, regular people. I mean, what their contributions are extraordinary. So, but I mean, like, just people that got regular 9-to-5s, and some of them are really big on social media and wear a lot of hats and have been on talk shows and whatnot, but most of them are just like that I try to highlight or spotlight, in the Spotlight section is just regular schmegler. But not for nothing, your brother, me, Halsey Allen, has recently created the lane for spotlighting, because before I added the Spotlight section to my podcast, the Narrator podcast, nobody was spotlighting anybody. So, I got to kind of pop my collar on that.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
In a real way. But, yeah. So the whole purpose of me creating the Spotlight section is just really to create the atmosphere of responsibly utilizing your platforms to say something positive about a brother or sister instead of something negative, because we're the only group of people that utilize our platforms in a negative way to bring a brother or sister down, kick them while they're down, drag them through the mud, air out dirty laundry like no other people does that but us. Like everybody's in-house issues stays in-house because they don't get on social media airing it out. We're the only people to do that. So that's kind of why I did the spotlight section, is just to prove, you can be positive. You don't have to like be messy online. All right, so this week on the spotlight section, I will be spotlighting a sister named Jessica Johnson. Jessica Johnson is the founder of a nonprofit organization called the Scholarship Academy. She started this program on her dorm while attending Howard University. She started it because she believed every student deserves the opportunity to pursue a debt-free degree. For more about our organization, you can go to www.scholarship.org. And basically, this is to teach you like how to like not get in debt and keep getting loans, because a whole lot of people, because if you ever went to college, it's all everything rush, sign your name on the dotted line, like the RAs or the whoever administration people are telling you about, how they're not doing a good job about telling you the responsibility of loan repayment and financing and all that stuff. With that organization, she teaches you the nitty gritty, how to get around, basically not paying through your neck after you graduate. And it's more geared to traditional 4-year students, like if you're trying to get a dorm on campus, how to not get evicted from your dorm, and resources you can use to, basically cover your cost of living expenses, grants and such to get transportation, and basically so you won't be in debt up to your eyeballs after you graduate. I mean, I've said it thousands of times here on my platform. The whole thing of college is a scam anyway. But at least this way you won't be getting finessed into just owing for the rest of your life. So at least they got that going on. And there definitely needs to be a program like that in every city in the United States, especially for our people. But definitely that sister had the foresight to, make this service available. She could have just got all them grants just only for her and not worry about anybody else. But I think that's a big problem we have in our community as well too, is like everybody's all about me and mine, and don't worry about nobody else. Did nobody help me? So nobody helped this sister when she was going through college. She was, a struggling college student as well. And when she graduated, or while she was in college, she didn't want nobody to struggle like she was struggling. So she, made all the resources available to whoever needed it. And is still continuing to do it to this day. So join me in giving a Warm Narrative Podcast round of applause for our sister, Jessica Johnson, and the Scholarship Academy. And like I said, if you want to find out more about the Scholarship Academy, you can go www.scholarship.org. They got a section where you can donate either some money, time, or resources. Go check it out at the very least. If you're thinking about attending college in that area, if you're a traditional college student, or if, maybe you're an adult and your child's thinking about going to college, this would be a good, reference for them. But definitely go check it out and support, and join me in the Giving a Warm Narrative Podcast round of applause for our sister, Jessica Johnson. All right, next section up on the Narrator Podcast. This section is called the Health and Wellness section, and it is simplistic in nature. It is how it sounds. It's about health and wellness. I'm giving health and wellness tips to our people, original people. The reason why I'm giving the health and wellness tips to our people is because our people, I feel, in my opinion, need it the most. Our people are under attack physically, mentally, and spiritually. It is an inherent plot to get rid of original people. They're putting things very harmful to our unique physiology in the air, food, water, and common items that we use every single day. Like I said, as far as the spiritual attacks, that's coming over the airwaves, in the media, in the music, in the television, in the movies, the psychological programming and conditioning, everything that's going on in Hollywood, that's all spiritual, and that, affects people that aren't entertainers. So we need to stay armored up. Quick disclaimer about the health and wellness section. The Narrator Podcast, anybody's free to listen to my content, no matter what background you come from, no matter what you believe in, creed, religion, whatever. But just know this podcast is geared towards original people. That's my target listening audience, my demographic, if you will. You're more, like I said, if you're open-minded and you want to learn more about original people, this is for you. But this section, everything, the health and wellness tips in this section, especially, is geared towards my people. Because whatever spiritual practice, religion you believe in, yes, we are all God's creatures, the higher power, whatever. But, just universal, there's certain universal things that just make us all different. And, I'm focusing in on the differences for my people. So in the health and wellness section of the Narrator Podcast, the health and wellness tips that I usually give, for the physical is the health benefits of a fruit, vegetable, herb, plant extract, elixir that you can either take, ingest orally, or apply topically to improve your health. Some type of physical exercise you can perform to improve your health. On the mental side of it, controlling your thoughts, keeping an organized, tips on how to keep an organized mindset, on the spiritual side of it, spiritual practices, teach you how to recognize a spiritual attack, guard against it, and basically keep your spirit in harmony. Those types of things is what you will experience in the health and wellness section of the Narrator Podcast. So now that you know what it's about, on to the health and wellness tip of the week on the Narrator Podcast. And the health and wellness tip of this week is the health benefits of hibiscus. Hibiscus is a flowering plant of the mallow family. So it's a flower, but the most common way people use it is through tea, to make a tea out of it, steep it down, make a tea. You can also dehydrate it and just eat it, or you can eat it raw organically. It's a flower. If you know where hibiscus is at in the wild, you can just pick it and eat it like that. It has a very, very super bitter tart taste. It's kind of like a cherry and a lemon mix. That's how tart it is. But it's loaded with health benefits. It's naturally anti-inflammatory. Dr. Sebi taught us, inflammation is the root cause of many diseases in the body. So anywhere where there's inflammation in your body, disease is sure to follow. So you want to incorporate a lot of healthy organic stuff that has anti-inflammatory properties at all times. It's also has antioxidant properties. Antioxidants, if you didn't know, just basically it means to burn fat, oxidize the cells, get rid of anything that's not supposed to be there, And in the process, it will help you lose weight if you're trying to lose weight. It improves heart functions, increases blood flow, regulates the heartbeats. Gut health, digestion. It clears out, any solidified bile that you have in your stomach. It greases the gears, it gets the goods gone, if you feel me. And it also fortifies the immune system. I hate when people say boost your immune system. Your immune system cannot be boosted. It's already operating at peak optimal efficiency. Now, what it can do is it can be compromised. When your immune system is compromised, then that's when, the disease sets in, but it can't be boosted. It can be fortified. And that's all the tips I got for you on here on the health and wellness section of the Narrator podcast. So get acquainted with hibiscus, especially if you live in a four-season state, because it's that time of year. People are just out and about more. There's more airborne pathogens. The weather's dropping, less sunlight. So you need to keep your immune system fortified. All right. This section next here up on the Narrator podcast is the speaking section. In this section, what I do is I talk about current events globally or events within our neighborhoods. And the purpose of me doing this, when I do this, I'm controlling the narrative. Because as I said when I started the broadcast earlier, the media has a weird way of warping and twisting facts, or, twisting the narrative to have our people looking and sounding crazy. So everything I unpack in the speaking point section of the Narrative podcast is from the perspective of, our lens, what that means for us as a people, how we should engage it and how we should interpret it, or how we do interpret it, but primarily whatever's going on in the world, I'm basically focusing in on it through our lens. So that's what the speaking points of the day is, just, whatever's going on in the news. So any further ado, on to the speaking point of the day. So unless you've been living under a rock, somebody sadly within our community tried to burned down the birth home of the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. And the sister's name is Latricia Sharif Henderson. She's been charged with criminal attempt of arson and interference with government property. Sharif is 26 years old. This happened around 5 p.m. in the evening. And people were sitting up there watching her do it. She walked up. There's all kind of footage of her, circulating around the net. She walked up. She looked very disoriented and disillusioned while she was doing it. She had an unremorseful stone expression. And she was just dousing the house with gasoline with intent to burn it down. So the big question, the floundering question is why? What was the motive operandi behind it? Why was she doing this? And we can pontificate and debate all we want to, because there's so many angles you can come out with that. Was that like a metaphor or a euphemism that she was trying to use? Because the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, before he got assassinated, one of the last speeches he made is, "I fear I've led my people into a burning house," when he was talking about switching up, his non-violent demonstration to be non-violent and to, sit at the table of brotherhood with, dominant society. So, was it like to demonstrate, a physical burning house? Was she trying to do that? Was she, just mentally distraught, having a mental health episode breakdown? Because Ripley's, believe it or not, dominant society, for all they've done to us and are currently doing to us, they don't believe that we can mentally break down. Like, we never have that as a defense. We can never just be like, I was mentally distraught. It very rarely, seldomly works in the court of law when we try to, play the mental distraught card. But we not humans. Like, we can't have a mental breakdown. So many things like to unpack. First and foremost, while it is a government recognized facility now, his birth home, just in case you didn't know, the King family, his mother and father, were extremely wealthy. They were extremely wealthy. So they were extremely wealthy. They owned several of their own businesses, and that home was located in Atlanta, Georgia. And of course, he died in Memphis, Tennessee. He also owned property in Memphis, Tennessee. His family moved all over America and had many properties. So that wasn't their only home. That's just the place where he was born at. So they had moved dozens of times before that. But not to say that she, trying to make excuses for it, like it was still wrong. We don't know what was going through the young lady's mind. I'm just pointing out some interesting things. Interestingly enough, on the scene was a brother while she was being arrested, letting him know, or rather, letting her know no one was trying to hurt her. It was speaking in a very monotone voice. They weren't like doing her super dirty. There wasn't like, the viral videos we always see of us when law enforcement engages us being tackled to the floor and, knee in our back, beating our head up against the concrete and, jabbing our ribs with the billy club and all that crazy stuff that usually, do to us. That wasn't happening in that scenario, and that's a good thing. But it just, to me, it's just really contrived. Because when you look at the whole dynamic of it, it happens a few weeks before Christmas, few months before general elections. So to me, it seems like a fake out. It seems like yet another deflection. I believe, I call foul. I believe she was put up to it. I believe she was coerced into doing it. I don't believe she just woke up, I'm going to go burn down Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's birth home, a guy that, was one of the activists, the end all activists in our community doing for our people. I don't believe she just woke up with that inclination that day, like, I'm going to burn down Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's house. Like, it's something fishy. There's a level of fish scales underneath there. To me, it just smells like setup. It smells like government setup. Because it just, like I said, it's too contrived. It seems like rehearsed almost. Next order of business, nothing super major, but I just want to know if people have heard about the class action lawsuit that's been going around for the incognito browser. So there's currently a class action lawsuit going around for the incognito browser. Basically, people who are using it have had their information stolen. So if you installed the incognito browser on any of your devices, whether it's a cell phone, whether it's your tablet, whether it's your desktop, you may be entitled to some money. So get online, hop on that, type in your browser, incognito browser, and see like if you're eligible for some bread. But that's also, an indicator that nothing on the internet is sacred. Nothing on the internet is sacred. Like, you're not safe. Like incognito, invisible mode. As the old saying go, big brother is always watching. Like the feds is always watching. Nothing sacred. Like everybody knows your dirty little secrets on the internet. Everybody sees somebody seeing those little inappropriate photos you take and put it in a little private folder thinking it's safe and nobody can see it. Yeah, the feds see it. Like somebody sees it. Hackers see it. So nothing's safe. So I guess the story is like if you don't do nothing on the internet, you ain't got no business doing. Word up. All right, so final section of the Narrative Podcast section. My final section is called the Final Thought of the Day, aka the final word. So my final thought is usually a phrase. The final word is a word. And what it is basically a gem, a pearl of wisdom, something philosophical, something deep, just something to think and ponder, challenge your thought process, critical thinking, just something to meditate on or chew on. That's what the final thought or final word of the day. And this week, it is final word, a word I've been seeing over and over again. And this word is expectation. A lot of us find ourselves disappointed in life because something or someone didn't live up or meet our expectations. It could be a job. It can be a relationship. It can be an interaction. It can be an experience. Everybody has been disappointed at some time. Everybody has been somebody else's disappointment at some time or another. And it's all about expectation. You can expect anything you like. You can expect whatever. You can expect anything. But just because you expect something doesn't necessarily mean it's going to turn out the way you expect it to. So I don't believe in like lowering your expectations. I don't believe in thinking negatively. But sometimes you can't control, what happens in life. You can't control what you expected. Like you can't control the outcomes on anything, positive or negative. Because sometimes something happens in a good way. You expected it to happen one way and it happened in a different way. And it exceeded your expectations. And then on the negative end of it, something might happen and it wasn't at all what you expected. You was devastated. You was hurt by it, whatever. But, expectations change. Like, you can expect anything you like, but just know it's going to happen however it's going to happen. And you have no control over that. Somebody is up to your expectations or they're not. But whatever happens, you have to, accept the expectation. Like, you just have to accept the outcome, whatever happens. But final word of the day here on the Narrative Podcast is expectation. So my expectation is that you will download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast and join me next week for another full edition of the Narrative Podcast. Also, I broadcast during the weekday, so I never know which days I'm going to have free during the weekday. So your best bet to avoid missing a live broadcast of the Narrative Podcast is to, follow me either on YouTube or Twitter, because YouTube, Twitter, or X as it's called now, this medium that I'm on broadcasts directly to both of them. So follow me on YouTube or Twitter. For the YouTube, subscribe to my user channel, Halsey Allen. And then click your notification bell on YouTube. I'm also Halsey Allen on that. I stay good at Halsey Allen. And that's it. So download this episode and our previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. See you next week. Unless I know something different, it's a good possibility I might not do a live one this week. I got a lot of stuff going on, as everybody else does around this time of year. But if I don't do live, I'll definitely do a full weekend. If I don't do a full weekend, something happened. I don't know. Stuff happens. But, plan on joining me this weekend for another full episode of the Narrative Podcast. Also, I have written a book titled The Black Card. The Black Card is available on Poetizer.com. Poetizer.com is a writer's community of writers, people that write short stories and poems. And now they've recently added a self-publishing option to that community. So whether you write short stories or poems, you have the option to create your anything you share on Poetizer.com into a book. And so I shared my work there and turned it into a book. I titled it The Black Card. Basically, it's a 30-page book of poetry that encompasses everything we go through as Black people, the Black experience. So yeah, that's what that book's about. It'll make a good travel book, good coffee table read. You would definitely love it. It's witty, insightful, and it's spot on for our people. You would definitely find something you connect with in that book, The Black Card. So go to Poetizer.com, their virtual library, and look for my title, The Black Card. Purchase your copy of The Black Card today, or get your Black Card revoked. Last order of business. I got a personal poetry blog on blogger.com. And what that is an assortment, a collection of my poetry. I write spontaneous, in the moment poetry. And I blog it on blogger.com. The name of my poetry blog is called hallziespoetrycorner. The address is www.mrhallziesblogs.com. I would like for you to very much check that out and support that. You can go to Halsey's Poetry Corner at www.mrhallziesblogs.com. And the way you support it is by sharing the link to Halsey's Poetry Corner or a poem featured on Halsey's Poetry Corner across all platforms, like whatever you're affluent on, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, TikTok, YouTube, whatever you're affluent on, share, some work from Halsey's Poetry Corner on it, the link or a poem featured on Halsey's Poetry Corner. For your visual ones, like the YouTube and the TikTok, you might want to have to actually, shout out Halsey's Poetry Corner. However you want to support Halsey's Poetry Corner, just support it. It'll get funneled back into this experience. So, yeah, check me out at Halsey's Poetry Corner. And that's it, and that's all. Thanks for listening. This has been another full episode of the Narrative Podcast. Remember to download this episode and all previous episodes of the Narrative Podcast, wherever you get your podcast information from, I'm Halsey Allen, and I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time. I'm asking you to, join me in my crusade to change the narrative by becoming a narrator. And while I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time on my podcast, you can change the narrative one episode at a time on your social media platforms. Until next time, Halsey Allen and the Narrator Podcast signing off, and it's like that.
Listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.